Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Aston Williams with the Melanated Travelers Podcast, aka the New Green Book, aka the number one travel podcast in the world. And what this show is about is we connect black travel creators, black entrepreneurs. We share black stories, we share black destinations and tips to inspire the African diaspora to travel the world. That's what we're about. And today is a very special episode. Today we're going to talk about something in specific that a lot of people, a lot of people overlook this particular area of the world. They do. And what better person to talk about the UK than an individual that actually lives there, that's from there, that can speak on the culture, right? So I have an amazing guest. I have Annie Ibrahim here, aka the Destination Darling. She's in the building. What's going on with you, Queen?
Hi. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Awesome. So a little bit about Indy. She's a aspiring travel expert who specializes in hotel and restaurant recommendations, also activities to do around the city that a lot of people wouldn't even think about. So first and foremost, I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I
Yeah,
appreciate
no
it.
problem. No problem. Let's dive straight into it. So the UK, London. Let's dive straight into it. Like let's talk about let's talk a little bit about your just your upbringing. Like, what I mean by that is that because I know it's different, and I know people want to
Mhm.
know, like, how does it differentiate between everybody else in the world, right? So, like, growing up with, and I know we talked about this off the record, but some things for people to think about. So, the mentions of uh having a monarchy, having a queen as opposed to a president. What is like? I mean, just being straight up direct with you. What is it like growing up being black in London? I
Yeah.
mean, straight up.
So it kind of is really similar to the US, actually. It's just that we have our systemic racism is very subtle.
Mm.
So I definitely grew up, I would say, poor. Um, we have something called like council flats where I think you guys have them, and they're just called blocks. And we
Yeah.
have like,
Uh huh.
yeah, and we have council flats that
Blocks of the
basically,
hood.
yeah, exactly. And we have those, and that's basically where they basically will have different parts of London, and in those different parts of London, in these council flats, you'll find that there's a lot of like Nigerians there. In those council flats, you'll find that there's a lot of North Africans there. In like another area, you would find that there's a lot of Ghanaians there, and they kind of that's how we have then our separate communities of people of color, because they do tend to put us all in the same area based on where you've actually come from. If your parents are
Hmm.
immigrants, or just if you generally have heritage from that country, even if you are born here. So that's basically how it was for me growing up. I grew up on a council estate. Had similar people around me from similar parts of the world, in Africa specifically and the Caribbean. There were a lot of Jamaicans and other Caribbean people. But it was still fun. I think when you're a kid, we didn't really know any better. Like, to us, that was normal. We knew there were people out there that had more money and nicer houses and stuff, but to us that was just normal until we got older and understood that that was just racism and we weren't really allowed to have anything. um in terms of having a queen, it's not, like I said before, it's not a necessary thing. The royal family don't really have any control or power over the things that go on. Anything that they do want to do or they do want to implement in the country, they do have to ask our members of parliament to do. So it's actually our parliament and our prime minister that are more equivalent to like you guys having a president over the royal family. The royal family don't really have any say in anything that goes on. They just make money off us.
It seems like the previous queen. Um, it seems like she was well respected in
You know
the
what they
community.
did?
Like, she was different.
They did really love that queen. I won't lie, they did. They did really love that queen, but I still think that it was more so because her reign was so long. Not because there's anything specifically amazing that she did. Like, I know when Princess Diana was alive, people had more love and respect for her because not only was she just a lovable person, she actually did things and made
Mm-hmm.
impactful decisions, whereas our queen didn't really. When we think about the things that she did do, they weren't actually so great. So I think it's more so just because of her reign. It was just a very long reign. She started, I think, when she was a teenager and then died when she was almost 100, I'm sure. So it was a
Yeah,
very long
she.
time. Yeah. But the general family, I think a lot of us British people are just kind of like, I don't think we need a royal family anymore. But who are we to make those
Well,
decisions?
Prince Edward already, he got a taste of that he got a taste of that chocolate, and he never
Yeah,
went back after that. I'm just saying.
exactly. Yeah, so
Once he got that taste, he was like, "Damn, I've been missing
yeah.
this my whole life."
Yes, exactly. That he left. He was just like, yeah, this is where I want to be. Um, but when they're younger, anyway, when he was younger, you could see that he definitely wasn't like the rest of his family. He was really involved in like things to do with like people of color,
hmm
racism, and
hmm
charities and stuff like that. He was like his mom. So
Like if I'm fresh off the plane and like if I'm one of those socially conscious and Afrocentric conscious people,
mm.
if I come to the UK and I'm looking for my people, where do I go? What neighborhoods do I go in? Like,
Okay.
cause I'm pretty sure that like redlining is a term in America, like back in the early 60s. Really, it still happens now
Mm.
because it's proven that certain banks like Wells Fargo was still
Mm.
redlining to this day. But that's
Mm.
neither here nor there.
Mm.
But basically, what I'm saying is, like certain areas, that we not staying in these areas. Like it's
Mm.
these areas here. This where we at. So like
Yeah.
if I'm looking for that, if I'm looking for my people, where do I go in the UK?
I would say definitely just start off in London because it's the most multicultural part of the UK. A lot of places outside of London, you don't tend to find people of colour, and if you do, they are quite racist for some reason. So definitely London is your best bet. However, I will say with the community that are very Afrocentric and in their power type of community, it's difficult here because I feel like we've only just started to have people become part of that community here. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that community in itself is still growing. Like I know that there's a lot of us who are like that, but then we find that that community is more in the US. So then we always want to go to the US because we know that that's where that's where we'll find
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people that are like that. Whereas here they are very more, I'm from Congo and this is my culture. I'm from Nigeria, this is my culture. I'm from Ghana, this is my culture. And then there's a different space where everyone can come together as people of color. But then just on a day to day, everyone kind of has their country, their culture, and how they kind of mingle and operate
Mm-hmm.
amongst people. But there is like a new awakening where there are a lot of Afrocentric people and people who don't just want to focus on the fact that they are just from this country and this is their culture, because we do actually know that even though we do come from that country, we could do a DNA test and find out that we're from 100 other places, and more trying to understand the general, different forms of that spirituality that you find in the culture just of being African, not just because you're Nigerian or just because you're Ghanaian or just because you're from here or there. It's just that general consensus of spirituality that we used to have just as a continent and stuff like that. Um, and learning about actual history to do with the whole of being black, not just the American history that they teach us, because that's also what we learn in school. We don't learn anything about Africa in school. We only learn about like slavery in America, and that's it. That's the only black history that we're
Wow,
taught.
they
Yeah.
would they would teach it. So okay, so they teach oppression over there too. That
Yeah.
I find that
Yeah.
we not gonna get as deep. The
Yeah,
Rothschilds,
we won't exactly. We won't.
Rothschilds.
But yeah, we definitely have a new collective of people who are very Afrocentric and just kind of want the general wholeness of being black and not just knowing I'm from here. but we definitely don't have a big community for that yet. We definitely see that more in the US.
Let me
So
tell you. Let me tell you something that's going to absolutely shock you. The state of Florida
yeah.
no longer teaches African American history in their schools.
Why?
Oh well,
What
let's
is
go
that a
ask.
law?
Let's go ask the governor. Hey, they passed the bill. People voted on it.
No.
Yeah. Now you
Oh
have
my
churches. You have churches in
god.
Florida. You have churches in Florida that's building a coalition to teach, African history in the
Yeah.
churches. But yes, Florida is as amazing as Florida is. I'm very disappointed
That's
by that.
crazy.
And Texas is trying to do the same thing right now.
The thing is, they can do that as much as they want, but history can't be hidden. Especially, thank God for platforms like TikTok, where people are able to actually educate others in like an easier way for people to learn and digest information. And the
Hmm.
information is all there for people to find. So they can say they don't want to teach it in schools, but that app is literally in itself a school and a teaching app. So I'm sure news will still be something that's spread, and history is something that will still be shared because we have platforms like that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so. Like if we talking like London, let's pick
Yeah.
London.
Yeah.
What neighborhoods would I be intrigued to go into?
So I would definitely say that you should go to East London and South London,
Mm.
because East London and South London is where you'll find the majority of the black community. Everyone that was black was mainly raised in East London and South London. Those are also very up and coming areas in terms of London. They are gentrifying places, as everywhere does, but you still have those communities there because they're people that were born there and raised there, so they do still live there. And that's where you'll be able to find parties that have more of the type of music that we would listen to. So African American music, you'll hear Afro beats, you'll find more restaurants that sell African foods and Caribbean foods that's more
Mm.
authentic than going into like central London, um, where the restaurants are a bit more expensive and less authentic because they're not cooked by chefs that come from the places and stuff like that. So definitely East London and South London, I would say, would be your best places to
It
stay.
it just seems it just seems like also from a fashion perspective that
Yeah.
I mean y'all are 10 times ahead of us. Like
Oh yeah.
man, I'm serious, and like Louisiana, I'm speaking for my state. It's a
Yeah.
very non-progressive state.
Yeah.
And like for instance, Florida or California, they keep up, the new fashion, new music that comes out. I
Yeah.
mean, they own it. Like us,
Yeah.
it's like you're living in a, in a time zone down here. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I've actually heard that comment a few times. So I was in Miami years ago, and I remember any person that stopped me or my friends in the street would say, "You guys are not from here, and you don't need to speak. I can just tell from the way you're dressed." And I just thought, what the hell
Hmm.
does that mean? Like, what? They were just like, "You're dressed too well to be from here." Like, I know you're not from here, and if you are from America, you're from New York. And I was just like, no, I'm not from here at all. But I just thought, but why? What? How can you just tell from the way I'm dressed? I was in Canada last year as well, and they said the same thing. I just walked into Foot Locker, and the girls was just like, "Sorry," I just wanted, where are you from? And I was just like, London. They were just like, I knew it. You don't look like you're from here.
Yeah.
I said, how? They were just like, the way you're dressed, your makeup. I can just tell you're not from here. But I don't know. I thought we all had the same clothing shops, so I don't really
No,
know why
no, we got it's
it's
it's it's
like
it's
that.
swag. It's swag. It's different swag everywhere.
Mm.
Like like in Florida and Louisiana. Like back in the day, we used to wear a lot of like huge white tees back in the early
Yeah.
2000s and jabos and you know what I'm saying. Like now it's it's so hot down here. By the way, it's very hot in Louisiana.
Oh,
It's hot.
lucky
It's a little
you.
cold right now, but yeah, it's hot. So like
Okay.
Christmas for me, I'm always in shorts. Like it's not
I
cold
am
at all.
so
Yeah,
jealous. Oh,
it's not cold. No,
very
it's not.
jealous.
It's not, man. What are some places that besides the well we not I'm not gonna overlook the London Bridge, but
Mhm.
besides the London Bridge, what are some other places that people can go to check out that you would recommend, and maybe add a few hidden gems that
You
a
know
lot of
what?
tourists wouldn't go to?
this is actually good because I can say for a fact London Bridge is like one of the shittest bridges that we have anyway. So no one needs to go to London Bridge, okay? Tower Bridge is 10 times prettier than London Bridge. So Tower Bridge would be a better bridge, and it's in an area where you can then go to restaurants and you can walk up the River Thames, and there'll be many different places that you can stop off at and things that you can do. And it takes you
Mm-hmm.
all the way down to like Westminster, where all the tourist places are. So you can see the House of Commons, you can go to the aquarium, you can see the London Eye, you can go on like a ferry boat thing where you just go down the Thames and they talk you through all the bridges and tell you all the different sites that you can see. So I definitely think Tower Bridge is the best starting point if anyone wants to see places to go and start from the bridge. That's the best bridge, I think, to start from. And then you can end up at Westminster Bridge where everything else is. So yeah.
How is it? You gonna laugh at me, man, because that's why I find this interesting. That's why I love my black people because
Yeah.
our even though you know we have the same hue, our cultures is completely different. Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about driving on the left side of the street. I just how hard was it for you to learn how to drive? I mean, I know that's the culture, but man, in my mind, it's like, damn,
I
if I
think
run a
the
car
UK
over there,
just
I'm scared to drive.
they just like to be different to everybody, but I think for us this is just normal. So I think it's scarier when we go everywhere else and have to drive because one, the roads are bigger anyway, which is just different. Our roads are quite small, so already just being on a bigger road is different.
Mm,
Then on top of it, obviously we all drive on a different side of the road compared to the rest of the world for whatever reason. So for us, it's scarier to drive abroad. But I think because a lot of us do travel, the more you do choose to rent out cars, the less scary it becomes. And we can drive to places like France, we can drive to Spain, we can drive to Amsterdam, we can drive to quite a few places. So when you start doing things like that, it kind of conquers the fear. I remember when I first, and the driving is different. So when I was learning how to drive and I hadn't had my license yet, that's when I went to Miami. And I wanted to take out some sort of buggy thing to drive around, and they said you need to have a license to drive it. So I was just like, oh well, I don't have a license, I just have my provisional, and they were just like, let me see it. And because it had an L plate on it, they were just like, yeah, no, you're allowed to drive. You can drive. That means you know how to drive. So they let me take out this like buggy thing to drive on the street. And at first, it was a bit scary because the roads in Miami seemed really, really big, but
uh-huh.
eventually like I got used to it. I think because my friend drove it at one point, she then parked it up because her and someone else wanted to get something, and then we had one of these traffic people come and say that it's parked the wrong way round or something like that. So then I had to get into it and take it round and do it myself and park it the right way around. And I thought, oh my god, I've never been on a road so big in my life, but I done it, which was fine. But the roads are massive compared to the streets in London, for real. Like, it's
What's the
very
average
different.
speed limit in London? What's the average
Oh,
speed
it's
limit
so
like?
slow. So, like, most places in the city will be between 20 to 30 miles per hour.
Oh no, that
Yeah.
would never work. That would never
Yeah.
work here.
In the
Like
city.
the
If you're
the
on,
regular
like,
standard,
if
yeah,
you're
the
on the
regular standard on the
highway,
interstate is 70 miles per hour.
no, you can't do that here.
In town is like 45,
You
50.
know, yeah, you cannot do that here. You will get into trouble. You can literally only do that on a motorway or dual carriageway. If you are in the city and you are just 20 is what you normally find. You can't. They're so small.
Damn.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what you know what's funny? Look, they're gonna have people that listen to this in your country gonna be like, you know what, we don't want him here. But I laugh at those little ass beetle cars. Man, that shit is so hilarious to
Yeah.
me. That shit is
We have
hilarious.
tiny cars. Like we have smart cars, we have the little Beetles, the TTs, because everything is just so small. The roads are so small. Some of them are really narrow. Like the roads I live on is very narrow. Like
Mm.
even drivers say it, and we live in London, and they still say, "Oh my god, this road is too narrow." Like, so we just have smaller roads and just lower speed limits.
God,
Yeah.
that's crazy. What about the food? What about Give us some
Okay,
restaurant gems. Now, come on, now don't skip over that. Now, look,
I
before
prefer
you
our
make your
food.
list, before
I
you make
prefer
your
our food
list,
over your food. Okay, I'm gonna say that. I
okay,
definitely prefer British food, and the reason why is because our food is not as fake as your food. I think that's what it is. So because our food has more, like we're not allowed to have as much as you guys have in yours, it tastes more authentic, certain things. But then I've heard that some people come here and then think that our food tastes bland. But I'm like, where are you going? Because it doesn't taste bland. You're just not going to the right places. So I can give you some good places that you can go to when you are in London because there
that's a
are some.
bet. That's a bet. Look, throw out some local spots, man.
So yeah, that's what I was gonna give the local spots. So if you like want to try anything sort of like African or any type of like spicy food, we have restaurants in East London and South London. There's a very popular restaurant actually called Enish, which they
Mm-hmm.
also have branches in places like Dubai. So they're really actually expanding quite a lot. They're really good if you want to have some really good Nigerian food, and you can go to a local restaurant or you can go to one in central London if you want to dress up a little bit and do a little bit of a fancy date night out. That's a good place to go for that type of food. If you want to eat anything kind of like Spanishy, like European type food, your best place to go in London to find places that sell all of those different places. So you would find Spanish restaurants, Italian restaurants, German restaurants, the lot. There's a place in London called King's Cross. And in
Mm.
King's Cross, they have a granary square, and in that square, you'll find all different types of restaurants that sell European dishes if you want to taste other European dishes. But obviously, you're in London, so can't go and reach those places. That is a place to go. Granary Square in King's Cross is a place to go. If you want to eat any Jamaican food, the best restaurants, there's Cotton's, which is a good restaurant.
I need the mocktails on that when
Yeah,
I come to
there's
UK.
Cotton's. Cotton's is
Look,
good.
that's the first place I want you to take me, hands down.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
We'll go to Cotton's. We'll go to Cotton's, or I can take you to Rudy's. Rudy's is really nice. Rudy's is good as well. The Jamaican food here is really, really nice. But I can imagine it's nicer in that I would believe is nicer in America, I think.
Listen. The only thing about me that you need to know, and for the people that's listening too, I know they would agree, especially coming from the South. The person that probably said the food was bland, they probably from the South because
Oh,
northern food in America
okay.
is not that seasoned, well seasoned. Like for me, I gotta go. Look, I need a little spice, baby. I need a little, a little, something to make me say,
Yeah.
and so I can sip on my beer or sip on, whatever I'm
Yeah.
sipping on. I need some
Yeah.
seasoning. I need some spice, baby. I need some spice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no, I
need
think
that.
you can definitely get like well seasoned food and spiced food from here. And I think what we're lucky with in that sense is that we have local restaurants that do it as well, but black owned businesses are starting to also open really nice, bougie, dressy restaurants that sell the same
Okay.
type of food, which is really beneficial because you don't just have to stick to local, you can actually dress up and still get that same vibe in a nice restaurant that sells the right food. So that's a good thing that I think that we have here. But I think maybe some people don't know that because it's like a new thing. So maybe they've gone to just normal restaurants and expected the food to
Yeah.
be fully seasoned, but it's not gonna be that way because obviously most people here are English and they like things to taste a certain
They
way.
very particular.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do y'all have a street food culture in London or no?
So actually, there is in East London. There is a black-owned eats place that we have where every Sunday there's this open market and you can taste any black-owned restaurant food.
Oh,
They
that's
have
great.
their stores. You have any black-owned businesses that are selling things from like jewelry to journals, toys, candles, hair stuff, like so many different things. And yeah, that happens every Sunday. And I think they've been doing it now for maybe like 2 years, and it's been really successful. In the summer, sometimes they turn it into late night parties as well, so it becomes a street party. when the sun's out because it's nice and warm. Because we all know that's the only time we get good weather here. So
I'm
we,
sorry.
so yeah, we tend to make the most of that. So yeah, that's a good one. And then we have other ones as well, but I would say for the black culture for my people, that would be the best type of street food type of place to go to if you want to taste some really good flavored food.
Hmm.
Definitely, 100%.
And how's the relationship? And you don't have to be politically correct. I'm just interested. I'm just interested in your answer.
Yeah.
How is the policing, in the east and the south, the southern neighborhoods as opposed to the rest of the country? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I know you've seen multiple stories of,
Mm.
many different cases from young boys just playing on the playground
Mm-hmm.
to a man literally getting choked out on live television, right?
Yeah.
Here in
Yeah.
America. So how is that that relationship with the police
So
there
I
with
would
with us?
say it's not as bad, but I think it's because here you're just not allowed to get away with as much because I do feel like the English want to maintain having like this good name where they're kind of like with the times and we don't do these like crazy things that they do in America. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, it's still bad. It just doesn't look as bad because it's not the way it happens there. But you do find that there's a lot of like stop and searches happen a lot here unlawfully to young
Mm.
black boys, and there's statistics that come out every year about it. Nothing ever changes. We have had a few incidents where the police have killed someone, and we just protest and go crazy about it. Anytime, there was a period of time at some point last year where a lot of women were going missing, and unless they were white, the police didn't really care to actually figure out what was going on. They would just class them as, oh, it's suicide, oh, death unknown, all these things. But then when it was a white woman, there would be this really strong will to want to figure out what happened to her, and there would be a lot of like news outrage about it, and everyone would be talking about it, and it would be this big thing. And anytime it was happening to a black woman, no matter how much like people tried to shout about it, it just no one cared really, basically. So it's still there, and we do have a very difficult relationship as people of color with the police here because they
Mm-hmm.
they are racist, and we see a lot of reports and statistics come out about it all the time, and situations that happen to people that we know, but it's just that they just can't be as openly disgusting with the things that they do. They can only do it behind closed doors because they don't
Mm.
want the world to look at them and see them as this like big bad problem. They're happy with the states to look bad first, and then they kind of do what they want in the background. But you definitely don't find that people are as, because I can understand from an American's perspective, like when the police stop you, there's almost this sense of like, okay, I really don't feel comfortable because I just don't know what way this is gonna
The
go.
first the first thing I do if I'm stopped by the cops, and I got a ticket earlier this year, right?
Yeah,
And even at traffic stops, you just never know. So I
yeah,
mean, it's sad that I have to teach my son
yeah,
like police etiquette. And what I mean by
yeah.
that is that if you're at a traffic stop, I put down my window, my insurance and my license is already in my hand, and my hands
Mm-hmm.
are outside the window before he even gets
Mm-hmm.
to the car. So I,
Mm.
I show him that I'm not a threat. But it's always scary, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine. You just never know what way it's gonna go. I think that level of fear, I think we're lucky to not have that here because it's really outrageous. If a police officer did anything like that, it would become like a really big deal, like no matter who it was. So there's just almost this like, we know you can't take it that far because
Mm-hmm.
if you do, this will become a bigger problem. But there's still a lot of aggravation and problematic behaviour in the encounters that black people do have with the police here. Yeah, there is.
Damn.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up that serious issue, so let's talk about a
Yeah.
lighter subject. If I wanted to if I wanted to come to London and turn
Mm.
up, where we going?
Okay, so it depends on the vibe. There's like different places that you can go
Let's see
to.
Afrobeat.
Oh, if you want the Afro beats, we have different events. So it depends on the type of crowd you're looking for. But basically, we have clubs that are specifically for like the African community that play Afro beats all night. Like that's basically all that you might hear a bit of trap like here and there, but it's Afro beats all night. Like that's basically what they play. So the
Man, they
clubs
got
that you
this new
find
song.
that at,
They got
you'll
this new
find.
song that's out that I love.
Yeah,
Dali, nah, nah, nah. Dali, boy, look, I be up in here. I hit them
yeah.
hips, boy. I'm telling you, I be rolling, boy. I'm telling you.
No, Daddy is a tune. That's a very good tune. I like that song. That's one of my new favorite Amapiano songs. So you've basically got a party organizer called Danky Sounds. So Danky basically plays stuff like that, Amapiano,
Mm-hmm.
and then they play other Afrobeat songs that kind of follow that same kind of Amapiano beat, but they don't have to be Amapiano specifically. And then you have nightclubs like LA Lounge. They are Afrobeat based as well. There's also a place called Tunnel, which is Afrobeats based as well. And then if you want a mixture of like bashman, Afrobeats, hip hop, R&B, then you have things like DLT. But DLT also do events like I think they're coming to the US at one point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
So
coming.
they tend to move around, but they do a lot of events here. So that's the place to go if you just want to make sure you're having fun. DLT is definitely like the first go-to event that you would find. And then we have other things like Room 187 where they play more old school music. So it depends on the vibe. But there's a lot of like black events that we do here. Yeah, a lot.
Cool. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
What's some like festivals that people should think about coming to? Like,
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the festivals, in terms of the black community, we don't really have any anymore.
I got you, got
Yeah.
you.
So yeah, we used to, but yeah, most of the festivals here, yeah, the black community is just not something you'll enjoy. Wireless does tend to have artists from the US that we like, but I think with Wireless, the only problem with that is for a very young crowd. So if
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to be amongst like a lot of teenagers and young in people in their early 20s, it's just not something that you would enjoy. But then for an older crowd, there's not really any sort of like festival events that we do now. We actually leave the country to go to festival events now because we don't really have anything here that they do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I will say about London and specifically is you can reach a lot of other destinations. So, what are
Oh,
some other places that other countries that you ventured off to? Just being that hub, you're close to a lot of different things. So,
yeah, a lot. So I took the train to Paris in September because you can do that. Amsterdam
damn,
is
I
just
ain't going to Paris right now. I'm telling you right now, till they kill them goddamn bed bugs. I'm telling you right now, straight up. I'm telling you
yeah,
right
the
now,
bed
I'm not
bug
going.
situation. I was so annoyed because literally once I got back from Paris was when the news came out that they had a bed bug problem, and I thought you're just saying this because everyone went there to see Usher and they're there for Fashion Week and there's that rugby thing. Like there was so much going on that I think the influx of people made them have to say what was happening. But then the Parisians have said that the bed bugs have been there for over a year and they haven't gotten rid of them. So unfortunately,
Mm-mm.
Paris won't be seeing me until they
I'm
sort
good.
it out. Yeah.
Yep, I'm
But
good.
Paris is definitely around the corner. It's like an hour away.
I'm gonna come holler at you.
Amsterdam.
We gonna hop on the train and we going to
Yeah.
Amsterdam. We going somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Amsterdam. You can take the train to Amsterdam.
Mm-mm.
Spain is very close. I go to Barcelona a lot.
How do you feel
Germany
about
is
Spain?
close.
Give me,
Pardon?
give me the, give me your God honest truth. How you feel about Spain? Because when it comes to us, like they were the originators of
Yeah, I know.
slavery. How you feel about that?
So I do love Spain, but the only part of Spain I can say I love a lot is Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of Spain, I haven't heard the greatest things about, like the people there, the way they treat people of color. I've heard so many stories, but I haven't bothered traveling to any other part of Spain apart from Barcelona. And I, at some point, wanted to see Madrid because apparently it's quite similar. Now, I think the reason why I probably like Barcelona so much, and that's why I like Spain, is because it's so multicultural. So I went there with the expectation, because it's a Spanish country, that it's just like, okay, whatever. I'm not expecting much because of who they are historically. And I kid you not, I've never seen so much like black culture in I just never expected to just see it like that in a European country before. I went out
Mm-hmm.
clubbing expecting to hear the unce unce music. All I heard was trap, R&B, hip hop, Afro
Come on.
beats. I was like, where am I? I'm so confused. Like it was really confusing, because I just expected one thing and it was a completely different thing. And the people that you would see in these clubs, they all had rhythm. Like everyone was just vibing and very happy, and it was just very multicultural. It was very straight. I just wasn't expecting it. But then when
Yeah.
other people talk about other parts of Spain, it seems like it's a completely different environment to Barcelona. And there's never been a person who I've told to go to Barcelona, or who may have gone separately to me, who hasn't said the same thing that I've said, that they just love it there, because it's just a different vibe. But I don't really know where that vibe comes from, because they do still have the same like Africans who have obviously run away and try to come and just create a better life for themselves. They have that in every part of Spain, including Barcelona. But there's just this different treatment of people of color in Barcelona compared to like everywhere else, and I don't know why.
Mostly every person that I talk to, I have some good friends that's been to Spain. They've
Yeah.
been to Portugal.
Okay.
And like I said, it's not a knock at the country. The reason why
Yeah.
I'm bringing up these issues is because it's good for us to also have the knowledge for ourselves, like to
Yeah.
know that Spain at one point in time caused a lot of chaos in the world,
Oh
a
yeah.
lot, right?
Yeah.
So let's not overlook that. But also
Yeah.
Portugal has been a hub for digital nomads and
Yeah.
also black and indigenous people to open
Yeah.
up businesses in Spain. So
Yeah.
you know, to each
Yeah.
his own. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah. I
It's definitely
definitely
not
think
top 10.
I definitely think Spain, I can understand why people are hesitant. And like I said, I've heard stories, but I think if anyone's going to go to Spain, then Barcelona should be where they go as a person of colour. If they want to have a more positive experience, is what I would say. Um, because Barcelona is one of my favourite places to go. And I'm not a fan of being in places where I feel any form of subtle racism, or feeling like I'm out of place, or feeling like I just don't like the way I'm being treated here. It's just different there specifically. But I would definitely say, out of all the European places and countries that I have gone to, in Barcelona, that's the way I've been treated the best. Because there's places like Italy, which I would still tell everyone to go to, but there's places like Italy where the racism is a bit more apparent, and it can ruin your experience going there as a traveler if you're someone who's not really got the strength to kind of just ignore the
Mm-hmm.
subtleness about everything that they do, because it will happen almost in every kind of like encounter that you're having with people there. But I've still gone to Italy many times regardless of that. But I can definitely say, out of everything I've experienced, like Barcelona is definitely hands down, as a Spanish country, as a Spanish city, is definitely the best place I've been to and felt
How
the
is your
safest.
Spanish?
Hmm?
I speak intermediate Spanish. How is your
Do
Spanish?
you, yeah, I only understand like a very small amount of Spanish.
Okay,
And
un
I think
poco,
it's
un
also
poquito.
different because I want to learn Spanish, but I want to be able to speak Spanish whether I'm in Mexico, Colombia, or Barcelona. But I know that there's a different form of Spanish that they speak in South America compared to the Spanish that they speak in Europe. And that's
It's,
what my
it's just
problem
it's just
is.
slang. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just slang. Like
Yeah.
like for instance, I give you an example. Like que mas.
Yeah.
Que mas is a term in Colombia.
Mm.
It means what's up. But if I have
Okay.
friends in Dominican Republic and I say
Yeah.
que mas, they're gonna be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" But
Okay.
but
Go on,
listen, but
eh?
listen. Off the record. After we get done with this episode, I got the
Mm.
plug. I got you. I got
Okay.
man. Shout out to my Spanish teacher Paola. I got you. She gonna hook you up. I got
Okay.
you. I got
Okay,
you.
cool. That's
I
fine.
got you. She's
Yeah,
awesome.
I do actually really want to learn Spanish, just because I do want to travel around South America. Like, I want to go everywhere. and I need to learn my Spanish before I can do that. So yeah, that would be good.
Definitely. I don't. I honestly, I'm just excited to get to the UK. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely
really
come in the
excited to get there.
summer. Do not
The
come
summer.
if it's not the summer, okay? In fact, I would advise the best time to come is actually spring. So any time before July and any time after April is the best time to come to the UK.
Mm,
Yeah,
okay.
unless you want to be here for our carnival. If you want to be here for the carnival, then you can come in the summer. But if you just want to experience the UK, then just come when the weather's not too crazy.
Gotcha. So you actually been to another famous place that everybody goes to. I want to get your experience. So you had a chance to go to Dubai
Yes, I've been to Dubai twice. Yeah,
twice.
yeah,
Oh, big time.
yeah. Yeah, I've been twice. I actually
How did
wanted
you
to plan
like it? What
another
was your
trip there again.
experience?
Do you know
Did you
what?
hear
It's
about the American
really
that got locked up?
got locked up for doing what? What?
She raised her voice or something, and they arrested her.
What?
Yeah, she had
Oh
a
God.
disagreement, and she raised her voice. Something along those lines. She's
Yeah.
still
See,
in
this
jail right now.
this this is the thing with Dubai. You really have to follow their rules. Like, there's no. You have to follow their rules because they will put you in prison. They don't care. This is
Mm,
the thing with them, and they also are racist, unfortunately. So when you're a person of color, you really need to take them seriously, I think. But I loved it. It was a very good experience, and I would go again. But I will say that it's how do I put this into words? So it's definitely something I think everyone should experience, but then I also think that everyone needs to understand that there's more outside of Dubai.
hmm
Like, Dubai is almost like going to a Vegas, but there's no casino. It's just clubs,
hmm
restaurants, and that's basically, and any type of, like, it's apart from the desert, obviously, because they have a desert and you can do quad biking there, but apart from that desert situation, every other excursion you would do would kind of be the normal thing you would do in any other country anyway. So it's kind of like this, wow, this made up place is amazing, but then that's it. So make sure that when you do go there, you make use of the fact that you are in the UAE and you can get to other parts of the UAE, like Abu Dhabi. You can get there easily, so you can go and see it. You can go and see other parts of Dubai that aren't in the main bit, so you can actually see what it really looks like. I feel like once you're so focused on Dubai and you get there, it's just like, oh, okay. And then you realize that there's more also to do outside of that. So I definitely would say that. And I will just say be prepared for, like, colorism and that type of thing, because it does happen there, unfortunately. If you want to go to the nightclubs, some of them will watch how you're dressed and how dark your skin is, how light your skin is. I had an incident when I went, I think the second time, where I was with one of my, it was a group of us. We were all black girls, and we had one Asian friend. She was Indian, and we went to go to a club. And when we got to the door, the security guards looked all of us up and down, and then looked at my Asian friend and said, "You can come in. The rest of your friends can't come." And we were like,
Damn.
"Why?" And he was like, "The rest of you just can't come." And before we had gotten to the queue, two black girls had already asked us when they saw us walking there, "Are you guys going to that nightclub?" And we had told them yes. And they said, "Oh, they're not letting dark skinned girls in, so don't bother wasting your time." But we thought, surely not. Like, it's Dubai. Like, these people are dark like us. What are you talking about? No, they didn't ask him.
Do you know the name
Just,
of the nightclub? Because we
yeah,
gonna
it's
blast
called
them.
BOA. BOA. Yeah. So that's
Boa.
the sort of stuff, yeah. That's the sort of
hmm
stuff you'll find. And funny enough, actually, I think they had like they had a rapper performing that day. I'm so sure, like, they had YNJ Youngboy or something there that day when they were refusing to let darker skinned girls into the building. I thought, you've got a whole black
Wow.
artist performing at this nightclub today, and you're just saying, like, black people can't come in. Okay, so that's the sort of thing that you're kind of like experience there, unfortunately, but it doesn't take away from the experience of the actual country. So
Mm.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You
Yeah.
just some more personal questions.
Hmm.
Like what was your reason for what sparked your interest to say, like, you know what, I wanna travel outside of the UK. I wanna experience different cultures. Like, what sparked that in you? Because not everybody has it.
No. So I think what it was when I was like 21 or something, I just thought, oh, let's just go on a holiday. So then I went away, I really enjoyed it. And I was just like, this is fun. Let me do this once a year. So then I think by the time it had been the third year that I chose to do it, I was just like, let me just add another country and see how I feel. Because I feel like I actually enjoy doing this. I want to see how frequently I can do it. If it's just, this is just something I actually want to year and leave it. And I think was it Italy and Portugal? And while I was away, I thought, I want to start just traveling because I feel like I'm learning things every time I travel. I feel like it's broadening my horizons. I'm getting to see more. And I don't know if you've, no, you haven't spoken to any other Black British person, but there's this thing with living in the UK where everyone thinks you're really moody. But the reason why British people are moody is because our weather is so bad. And it's like that for the majority of the year, and our work life balance isn't great. And when I started to travel and see how other people lived and how happy other people were in other countries and how much the weather impacted that, how their work life balance was not the same, like they didn't work themselves to death, they were very much more easygoing. And I felt like I was learning more. It made me want to travel more because I felt like I constantly was gaining new knowledge and seeing and experiencing a different way of life compared to where I live, to a point now where I know I don't want to be permanently resided in the UK. I actually want to live in a different country, and I know that now because I've traveled so much that I feel like I just belong in a different country. So then when I made an effort to just start traveling more and making it a thing, it was more just personal to me. I just wanted to learn more. I wanted to experience more. So I just wanted to travel more. And people started to tell me that, you should create an Instagram page, that you need to start actually promoting the things that you do because you have so much information. Like, a lot of people would find this very useful and helpful. And then that's when I decided to make it a thing that I was going to actually document my content and become a content creator. So yeah, I love to travel. And I remember when I first went on my solo trip on my own, the first time I ever did it, and how nervous and scared I was. But it was like a testament to myself to know that this is something that I can do. And it's not like, because a lot of people, I feel, wait on people to travel with them. And I
Yeah.
felt like if I want to see the world and I
Me,
actually want
I'm
to
gone.
experience, yeah, exactly. I thought
I
if I
give
want to
two fucks.
experience
I'm
it, not
gone.
everyone is going to be able to do it every time I want to do it. So let me try and do it on my own. So then I went on my first solo trip. I found it okay. So I went to that country repetitively until I felt comfortable. After that, I started to branch out and just go to different countries on my own. And now I'm just fine with it. So
Man, that's awesome, man. Y'all, look, y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here first. When y'all in the UK, when y'all in London, man, y'all go holler at my girl Annie, man. Go holler at her. I'm gonna give you this
yes.
opportunity to drop all of your information, how people can follow you, how people can support you, and also your information is gonna be in the show notes as well. But I just want to take this time for you to put your information out there so people can follow you.
Okay. So follow me, guys, on Instagram. My travel page name is destination.darling. And if you want any sort of recommendations for places to go and eat or things to do in London, then you can follow my sexy dates in the city with 2 underscores at the end. Yeah, on
Sexy
Instagram.
dates in the city.
Yes.
Ooh, hot girl summer coming soon next year.
For real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but man, Andy, I appreciate you, and I really appreciate you for coming on and sharing your insight. And I,
Mean.
like I said, I look at my tablet. I got you. You dropped some gems. You dropped some gems, and I really do
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Yes, ma'am. And y'all know my motto. I'll see you at the top because the bottom is just too crowded. Peace.
Ooh.
All right, so there
Thank
we go.
you.
And I'm a whoop my daddy ass because I must have my phone set on. Wait, hold on. I don't know why it's doing that. Did it stop on you?
No, it's
Oh, I
still
didn't stop it.
yes.
I didn't.